Hello everyone, this is our last week on time, and at the same time, this is also our very last lecture together for this course. Let me tell you our agenda for today. First, we will go over the expressions about time or expressions with time, main ideas of the reading John Harrison's, and key terms from the TED Talk last week. Then I am going to review the points from the segments we work on together from the TED Talk Inside the Mind of a Master Procrastinator. Then I will move on to the remaining segments of this talk. The remaining segments might be a bit more challenging. So later, when I ask you to watch the talk, feel free to watch it more than one time and then come back to my explanation in the video lecture. Then I'm going to ask you to do your very last group discussion together about our lesson this week. Finally, I am going to wrap up what we have talked about the conditionals. So you can see I use plural conditionals here, which means I will show you some questions about first, second, third conditionals, and you will try your best to come up with answers. And finally, I will remind you of the important dates in the remaining weeks of our semester. Without further ado, let's get started. First, some questions about the reading. Number 1, what is the longitude problem? So the longitude problem is the problem of not being able to tell time on the sea. The sailors in the past, they were able to tell the latitude, but they could not tell the longitude. That's why people had to come up with solutions to the longitude problem. Second, what are the two types of clocks invented by Harrison? Harrison, in the beginning, invented the pendulum clock, but the pendulum clock was not good enough, so he invented the mechanism clock. Number 3, did Harrison get the prize immediately? No, because the board of the longitude thought it was pure luck. It was coincidence that Harrison's mechanism clock worked on the sea. But as I told you, he appealed to the king and got the prize very late in his life. And finally, what is Harrison's legacy? What does legacy mean? Legacy means a situation that has developed as a result of past actions or decisions. So, in what way did Harrison change the way we live today? His inventions of mechanism clocks changed the way people live today. Without his invention, we wouldn't be able to tell time anywhere. People might have trouble sailing on the sea because they could not tell time. Okay, so this is what we call legacy. And I also show you short answers for the previous 3 questions. And ideally, you should be able to have your own answer to these questions. Okay, so this is about the reading. Let's move on. The second part of the review is about expressions. Have a look at the first 2 definitions. Before a certain time and once in a while. Do they ring the bell? Anything in your head? So before a certain time, ahead of somebody's time, right? For example, John Harrison's clocks were ahead of his time. And then second one, once in a while. What does that mean? it means from time to time. Okay, from time to time. And then the last two, I show you the expression directly and you need to tell me what they mean. So pass the time, what does pass the time mean? It means to do something so that you can find it easier to wait for something. So to pass time means to kill time. In time and on time, what does that mean? If our class starts at 7 o'clock in the morning, if you arrive in time, it means you arrive 10 to 15 minutes earlier, okay, before the designated time. If you arrive on time, that means you arrive at 7 o'clock, okay? There are quite a few expressions about time in this unit. Do find some time to write them all down to help you remember them. Okay, so in time means, again, early enough. It is different from on time. Okay, the final part of our review will be the TED Talk. So, do you still remember what the purpose of Urban's talk is? So the purpose of Urban's talk is to help people figure out the difference between the brain of a procrastinator and that of a non-procrastinator. And today we will find out the answer to this question. And the second one, what are rational decision maker and instant gratification monkey responsible for? So last week we introduced these two characters invented by the speaker. What are they responsible for? The rational decision maker is responsible for doing the right thing. On the other hand, the instant gratification monkey is responsible for doing something easy and fun. Okay, doing something easy and fun. Okay, so far I hope you have answered all the questions well. If you find it difficult to come up with answer to the questions, then it's probably a good idea for you to go back to the previous lectures to review.